Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Life Beyond Clinical Practice podcast. Today, I am absolutely delighted to have with me Prianka Cuppusamy, who's a 31-year-old entrepreneur. I love that. She's actually also a former student of mine, an optometrist, a dreamer for fashion, art, music, travel. And I simply love that that's an expression of what she does now in her career. As founder and owner of Mood Eyewear, which is based in Cape Town, Priyanka's passionate about blending clinical care with creativity, heart, and innovation. And I can't wait for her to share her story. Uh, in Priyanka's own words, whether it's learning something new, styling a bold new look, or planning the next adventure, she believes in living boldly and building a life and business that reflects who she truly is. And I absolutely love that, Priyanka. And thank you so much for agreeing to be on Life Beyond Clinical Practice. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's absolute honor to be featured on Life Beyond Clinical Practice. So thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Well, I loved your journey when we connected again on LinkedIn, and I saw what creative things you were doing, in the practice space. I thought this is such a phenomenal story to tell because while my podcast is sort of life beyond clinical practice, it's not just about leaving clinical practice, but finding what you're passionate about and blending that with your day-to-day work. And I recall in our initial conversation, Priyanka, you said earlier in your career, before you sort of uh, birthed, can I call it, Mood Eyewear, there was a time when you felt depressed, that you felt you had so much to give, but you were stifled in the context within which you were working. And then you started sort of just creating this dream. So tell the audience a little bit about yourself, your professional journey to date, and why it is you decided to start your own brand that is now challenging the optometric market in a creative way.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the intro. I mean, I think you've summed me up already. But I'm Priyanka Cuppusamy. I'm 31 years old and the owner and founder of Mood Eyewear Optometrists. We are based in the mother city, Cape Town.
Love it.
And basically, yeah, as you said, all of those things, I just felt very unfulfilled and I felt like I wasn't, living my purpose in terms of
Mm.
my career choices. So I started Mood Eyewear Optometrist straight after graduating in 2017. I worked for numerous different private practices after. I felt limited, so I wanted to do something that was more meaningful and impactful.
Love it.
I started Mood Eyewear in 2020, and that was an e-commerce store. And that actually manifested into Mood Eyewear Optometrist after we gained a little bit more traction, we gained a bit of following and more capital. We started this a year ago and it's been absolutely incredible. I'm enjoying it thoroughly. And the main goal for Mood Eyewear is to blend all of my, clinical skills, my passions, my hobbies, interests into something full of heart and soul, and to share that with the public and the community. So we all about personalized eye care, creating an affordable experience, and also just making it trendy and fun and exciting at the same time.
For sure. I absolutely love that. Actually, I saw your 1 year celebration, which was just earlier this week or last weekend, I think, and it just
Yeah.
looked so fun. I saw some of the pictures on Instagram. So I love that you're doing something unique. And as you said, blending all of the aspects of your life into your work, because that's when work really becomes fun. When we see work as sort of just a separate entity, something we use to get a paycheck, then to live life outside of that, that's when work can become a drag. So I think you've sort of got the magic combination of everything helps to keep us fulfilled. That's not that, life and career will not be without its challenges and business, but the fact that you've
100%.
centered it around what you're passionate about, I think is really the winning ingredient, in my years of experience. So,
Thank you so much. I really
yeah,
appreciate the kind words. Yeah. That
wonderful.
was mainly the goal, I think, was to we had a 1 year celebration, but We wanted to create something fun and enjoyable. And, you know, optometry is such a serious concept as well. It's very intimidating, and it's something that people sometimes feel anxious about. So just making it a bit more exciting, a little bit more less serious, a little bit adding a bit of spark to things. I
Right.
think that definitely, yeah, it definitely helps.
Wonderful. So you did mention a little bit about sort of how you felt before you started Mood Eyewear or earlier in your career, but can you expand a little bit on what you feel was missing in your professional life that you knew you needed to find a path to more?
100%. So I just felt very unfulfilled. I felt that, you know, in my optometric space, it was very limiting. I had so many ideas and a vision in mind, and I felt like I wasn't being pushed out of my comfort zone, or I wasn't challenged at all in any
Mm.
way. So for me, I wanted to create something that was impactful and meaningful and made people, you know, excited about having their eyes tested or excited
Mm.
about eye health and eye care. And with Mood Eyewear Optometrists, we're also very passionate about community outreach and social impact. So we enjoy doing outreach programs and visual screenings, and just to create awareness around eye health and, you know, why it's so important to take care of your eyes and vision. So I think that's also very close to my heart, and something that not, you know, all optometrists want to do or would like to do. So I think that's kind of like pushes us out of that norm or stereotype. Yeah.
For sure, Priyanka. You're taking me back to my younger days, should I say, as a young
Yes.
optometrist, and I just loved community outreach. I mean, I used to volunteer all the time, to just because it gave
100%.
me such a sense of purpose, fulfillment. I was giving something to people who maybe had never had an eye exam or even just a vision screening. They knew nothing about eye health, and just the fact that you're giving without expecting anything in return and you're adding value to people's lives. I think for those who are not doing some sort of community outreach, philanthropy in their professional lives. And if you're feeling unfulfilled, that's a huge missing
100%.
piece. Yeah, so I'm so glad you integrated that into your work.
It's just very much rewarding, other than making people, helping people see and putting a smile on their face. It just makes you more fulfilled as, you know, not just a healthcare professional, but just on a personal level as well.
Person. Yep, as a member of society for sure. So,
100%.
Bianca, what would you say starting Mood Eyewear has meant to you? And I must commend you, starting a practice or a brand or a business as a young graduate is a big step. It's intimidating for many and takes a lot of bravery. So maybe you can talk a little bit about where you found the courage to do that and then what starting Mood Eyewear has meant for you beyond sort of, just an expression of yourself and giving back and just believing in your potential beyond maybe what the world puts, out there as an optometrist should do.
So for me, Mood Eyewear Optometrist has really been a transformative experience in my life. It's definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone and more into my
Mhm.
purpose.
Love it.
I feel. So on a personal level, it's taught me to be resilient. It's taught me to be confident. It's taught me to be, you know, I can still enjoy my career long term. I can still
Mm,
enjoy my work and all the skills that I've developed over time, and create something that I'm excited about and I'm, you know,
yes,
thrilled to do. And, you know, why not share that with the world and the public? Because
for
it's
sure.
so important to do that. And on a professional level, it's taught me to be a leader, a strategist, a brand builder. It's taught me so many new skills that I would have never thought I would have learned.
Right.
But it just goes to show, you know, when you are pushed out of your comfort zone, it's kind of like what creates the most magic and joy. And I feel like Mood Eye
Oh,
was definitely being the platform
for
for
sure.
that for me.
I love
Yeah.
that because too many people stay in the comfort zone, right? Because it's safe, it's familiar, but real growth only happens when you step out of your comfort zone. And I meet so many health professionals over the course of my career, even, while I was at the university as an academic. they hit the ceiling of growth so quickly in
Yes,
clinical practice. And then, like you said, feel stifled, feel unstimulated, like they have so much of potential, but the
100%.
work or the environment within which they practice doesn't allow them to explore that. And so I love what you said. You took it upon yourself to create that for you. And
100%.
it doesn't necessarily mean everyone has to open their own practices and do it the way they want to do it. But
Yeah.
I think the message I'm getting from your story is how can you create the magic for yourself? Find opportunities to bring out the strategist in you, to bring out the leader or the creative, person, or whatever type of person you are. Maybe you're a numbers person, you like
Mhm.
data. How can you look at your patient records and start analyzing patterns and coming up with some evidence-based solutions to addressing some of the common eye issues you may deal with. So all of these things, I just see, I think too many people just step into the box and they feel limited by the box without taking onus on, okay, how can I make this different for myself? So your thoughts on that?
I think also just getting to know yourself well and finding what lights me up, what are my passions, what are my interests, what are my strengths, and just kind of doing research into that and finding maybe gaps in the community or gaps in business in general, and finding what you're interested in and taking that leap of faith to actually start something on your own.
Mm.
It's a challenging task. It's not easy. There's a lot of curveballs in between. But I think if you have the right mindset and if you are set on your goals and aspirations, just working towards it every day is just one step closer towards the bigger, more, bigger, more impactful picture in the whole, in the long run.
Oh,
Yeah.
those aspirational goals we all seek, right? Because you can either stay stuck, stay where you are, it's not working, it's
Yeah.
not right, and just be discontent for the rest of your professional life or your working life, or you could do
Yeah.
hard things, right? But know that you're on a path to fulfillment, you're on a path to purpose. So yeah, commend you as a
Thank you
young
so much.
professional, coming to that realization and taking up, the challenge and the initiative. And so
Most definitely.
let's look back a little bit. What do you think would have been the outcome for your career if you didn't decide to venture out in this unique direction that blends your love for fashion, authenticity, personality, passion, creativity, all of these things?
Yes.
If you didn't make the decision to pursue Mood Eyewear, where do you think you would have ended up 5 years from now, 20 years from now?
So, had I not taken the leap of faith, I still think I would have been an entrepreneur, because I just don't see myself, being boxed or being limited
Mm,
in a certain way. I'm a very free spirited person. So I constantly like being challenged and I constantly like being stimulated.
right.
So I would have definitely still been maybe in the healthcare and wellness industry, not necessarily optometry.
Mhm.
But like I said, there's so many things in the e-commerce space
Yeah.
that's booming right now.
Mhm.
So I would have maybe also found certain gaps in the market and probably leveraged off the e-commerce space,
Mhm.
as well as AI and tech. The AI and tech
Cool.
space is booming at the moment,
Mm.
and it's something that I'm also very interested in, and hopefully we can incorporate that into the practice in the future. But
Wonderful.
that's also something I would have, wanted to gain more knowledge on and looked deeper into had I not pursued Mood Eye
Oh,
Optometrist.
I'm so glad you found you found your thing so early on in your career, and that you can grow it into, really, the potential is unlimited into whatever it's meant to evolve into, right?
100%. It's just the beginning.
For sure. Your baby is 1 year old now, and
Yeah.
see it to maturity, and I can't wait to watch that journey because I know you're going to do phenomenal things, Priyanka. So what would
Thank
you
you.
say was the biggest mental hurdle to launching out into carving out your own professional path? And how did you overcome that, if you had any sort of just mindset barriers or challenges to overcome?
I think um, it's difficult being pushed out into or taking such a big risk
Yeah.
in terms of opening up a practice. Financially, it is
Mhm.
a big a big risk, as well as on a personal level. It could go either way.
Yeah.
It could be a huge success or not. But I think just believing in yourself, and even if you're starting small and you're planning while you're still maybe working your full-time job,
Mhm.
is basically what I did. I kind of planned Mood Eyewear Optometrists over time. And when I knew that I had all the steps in place, and when I felt confident in myself, and when I felt like it was the right time to transition from just being an optometrist clinician to being an entrepreneur, that's when I took the leap of faith to move forward. And I also just think it's about staying positive, staying optimistic, and having that mindset, that growth mindset, that following your heart and what your true passions are. I think at the day we all want to do something that's fulfilling and brings us joy and happiness.
Mm.
So I think that taking the risk maybe initially is something daunting, but long term it's going to definitely help you thrive in the future.
For sure, personally and professionally. And tell
Um,
me, Priyanka, who did you surround yourself with to support this vision and dream? Because it can be lonely, right? Championing your own dream, and maybe you're the only one who believes in it. And sometimes people may talk down on your ideas. And I'm not saying
mhm.
that's happened to you, but that does happen to
No,
people.
100%. 110%. I mean, I love surrounding myself with positive people, people that are also entrepreneurs. I have a huge
Mm,
network of
wonderful.
also female founders and
Love it.
entrepreneurs that I look up to, and I aspire to be like. I hold them very close, listening to mentors and even listening to podcasts like this to gain insight and to gain knowledge on what should be my next move. I think it's very valuable
Mhm.
because a lot of people feel a bit lost and confused and uncertain, and I think channels like this make it so much easier and so much worthwhile to delve deeper into, and just surrounding yourself with positive energy, doing things that you wouldn't normally do, attending workshops or conferences, just seminars or talks
Mhm.
could really, really help you, step out of your comfort zone and network with like-minded individuals or individuals that could help you leverage to start your
In
own
different
business,
spaces.
or even, partnerships or collaborations could be
Yeah.
really important if you want to transition from your career into something different and new.
Sure, or even just couple your career, like you mentioned, e-commerce and AI, and and um, I can bet probably $1 million if I had it, that there's tons of opportunities even for optometrists, for other healthcare professionals to leverage advancements in technology and then create their own thing, right? So it's just about thinking outside the box, which I think you've demonstrated through Mood Eyewear and through your growth mindset and attitude to just keep growing, see opportunities, surround yourself with positive people. So that being
Yes.
said, what advice would you give to other clinicians who feel stuck in a model of practice? I've heard it so many times. They're stuck in whether it's a corporate model of practice or just maybe professional restrictions that stifle their growth and doesn't allow them space to explore their full potential, and they just don't know. Like, how do I take the next step? What step should I take? What advice would you give them from your experience?
I think it's all about from what we've spoken. I think just following your heart and following your gut and listening to your inner voice telling you, look, this is not for me. Doing things that make you happy, fulfilled, that lights you up, getting to know what your strengths are and what your interests are, and doing
100%.
market research, just research, finding where loopholes are, gaps in the market, and just kind of like being consistent and persevering to work towards that, just being resilient and hardworking. I think that definitely does pay off in the long run. Just be curious as well. I
Oh,
mean,
for sure.
just
I
be
think
curious.
yeah, and that's been sort of my theme throughout my career, just curiosity, you know,
Yeah,
even
you'll never
outside of
know
my
what can
discipline.
come of it if you just, put your mind to something and remain focused. And small steps over time,
Yeah.
every day can result to something beautiful and phenomenal and magical. So
That you
yeah,
never
just
even imagined would have been possible for sure. So
yeah.
tell us, what's your dream and what's your plans for Mood Eyewear? Where do you see Mood Eyewear going in the next few years, Priyanka?
Wow. So yeah, I mean, with Mood Eyewear, I feel like we've created a beautiful impact. I definitely want to do more outreaches and social awareness programs for the next year. So visiting homes, old age homes,
Oh,
schools, maybe even the rural communities, just to spread awareness as well as give back. We have partnered with an NGO this year, so we really,
lovely.
really want to provide some spectacles and free eye testing for the less fortunate. I think that's something which is close to us for the next few years, as well as just growing as a brand and as a whole, and bringing us
Wonderful.
as many of the community in as possible, just to show them what we're about, show them that
Mhm.
it is a very serious topic, but we want to
Mhm.
help them and we want to fulfill their needs as best as we can. So definitely more social impact growth, definitely more outreaches, and just connecting with other optometrists and healthcare professionals along the way to create, that community. Yeah.
Love it. You know, it's been many, many years since I practiced clinically as an optometrist, and but I remember when I was in practice, then, optometry was kind of an intimidating profession. And maybe
Yeah.
to a large extent, it's because everybody stayed in their practices and waited for someone to walk through the door. But, going out there and making it fun and, educating people, it then becomes more accessible for people who otherwise would not have accessed eye care services to think, well, it's possible and it's affordable and it's important for my health. I think that's also, a key underlying message. So, keep doing great stuff. I'm so proud of you for what you've done. And when I'm next in Cape Town, be sure that I'll be
That
visiting
would be amazing.
there.
That would be absolutely amazing. We'd
And
love
then
to have you here.
you
You
can
would
outfit me with a funky pair of glasses.
100%, 100%. It's been such an honor as well to be on the podcast, and I hope that I can inspire people out there to
I'm
take the
sure.
next bold leap of faith into their career journey going forward.
I have no doubt that your story will, Priyanka. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your journey. And I can't wait to watch the even greater things that you're going to do in the years to come. So, yeah, appreciate you sharing your story. And yeah, as I said, I'll definitely be knocking on your door when I'm next in Cape Town.
I love that. Thanks so
Take care.
much.
All the best. Lovely chatting, Priyanka. Take care.
Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.